It's so awful that you kind of almost block it out.
Which I do understand, but I think the privilege you get to turn away from it that I don't get. I will never not be black.
Living in rural Britain, you experience a lot of racism, and we don't talk about diversity, we don't talk about difference. But now that was happening, and I felt really inspired by that. Gave me a bit of hope in that I have moved through my life not being vocal enough, and here's an opportunity for me to do so, and I can do it somewhere where nobody ever talks about these things. So I texted my friend Eleni, shall we do a protest in the forest? And she was like, oh my God, yes. So yeah, it started off from a text. We called the town clerk, and then I think within like an hour or so we were given the go-ahead to run a demonstration from Bathurst Park. And we were like, right, what's next on our list? And we kind of went through all these things we need to do, and we were like, great, we make a Facebook group next. Like, we start advertising. We'll just invite all of the people that we know, and it's, you know, people are going to think, great, this is brilliant, like, let's get on board. And people started sharing it, and, you know, we got quite a lot of traction quite quickly on the Facebook group. And we were like, God, like, this is going well. Forest 15, Black Lives Matter demonstration. But then there is a problem, because it started quite public outrage. A petition had been created trying to oppose the demonstration going ahead for the concerns around COVID. And then the council sent us a letter, and they'd made the decision to cancel the event. I feel I can speak for all of the council and the overwhelming majority of Lydney residents to say that we all support the underlying aims of the Black Lives Matter campaign, and therefore indeed the wider sense that all lives matter. I'm calling on the organisers to show due respect for Lydney, and that indeed all lives matter, to cancel or at least postpone your event, as it demonstrates respect for all lives. So yeah, I think we just put a post up that said, this event is now cancelled, please see the letter attached below. And within about an hour of posting it, someone from The Guardian reached out. It speaks to how much of a problem this is in the area that I live in, because that's your councillors that have said that all lives matter 3 times in a letter. It was just everywhere. And I think, you know, as soon as a news outlet posted something on their Twitter and their website, websites that were set up at that point that still exist now that are like khadygueye.com.
I can't get my head around it. And I mean, I suppose, in a sense, it's so awful that you kind of almost block it out.
Which I do understand, but I think the privilege you get to turn away from it that I don't get. I will never not be black. And I think...
I know, because I know part of who I am is I'm not very good at challenging. Because you remember you said to me, you need to do better, Mum.
Sounds so brutal when you put it
No,
like
but
that.
it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
I was really shocked when you said it to me.
it was really tough, and I was in a really dark place, I think, at that moment in time. But I think the council, they did face a lot of backlash for that letter. They had a vote and they voted to change their decision, and the protest was allowed to go ahead. You know, people were accusing the councillor, the mayor, councillors of being racist, and that isn't a good look for a local council. So I think a lot of their change of heart was around the optics, just being there in that moment and watching that all play out. It's one of my proudest moments. Yeah, it made everything feel worth it. I'd been out with some friends. I was approached by a man who I didn't know. It quite quickly moved into, you know, where are you from? Where are you really from? You know, black people will never be British. I think the phrase he used was, pigs that are born in stables don't grow up to be horses. And then, yeah, he came back 20 minutes later with a gun and a knife and pointed it in my face.